what skills do they look for? And this is a problem because if you're going to be interviewed by 200 companies, then that's difficult. You're gonna have to work hard, or we're gonna have to work out: are you focusing on a specific company? So there are going to be 200 companies coming, but you're only going to focus on 5. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, what companies would you be focusing on? Okay, you're focusing on roles. Tell me the companies, not the roles. The roles are the same for any business. So what about the company? The companies are different. Okay, so Nissan and Deloitte are 2 very different companies. So you've got one as a consultancy and one of the big 4, and then the Nissan is a motoring company. So that's like saying I'm going to work for I don't know. I'm going to work for McDonald's and I'm going to work for Sony. They're 2 very different companies. So what specifically would you like to, why would you like to work for Deloitte? Okay. Okay, but it sounds to me that you don't know what you want to do. But the recruiters are going to be very good at asking questions, and they're going to, if I can find this out in 5 minutes, you know, that you don't know what you want, which is Cress's Lily. If I can find out that you don't know what you want, then they're going to find out very quickly as well. So we need to have, now the thing is, okay, one of the things that I say, in fact, if you have a look on my Facebook, I even have the same quote. So say here, a goal is not the destination, but the direction. Can you see that? Yeah. So, okay, it doesn't matter if you don't know where you're going, yeah, in terms of the destination. It's because a goal's not the destination. And the reason is that as you get closer to your goal, your circumstances are going to change, and therefore your tastes and wants and desires are going to change as well. So being stubborn on a destination is sometimes it's kind of like suicide to you know, you get lost on your way, yeah, because you get stubborn on something. You need to be adaptable. So knowing where you want to go in terms of your direction, that's a lot safer to bet on, yeah, because as you get further down that road, then you can say, actually, I want to try this and try that. So if you want to go into Deloitte and you want to focus on purely business in terms of business intelligence, business analyst, and then using coding language like, I don't know, MySQL, Powerhouse, or I don't know, whatever it is that you're going to be using in these. That means that you're going to be moving out of the electronic engineering, out of the robotics, out. I mean, you could not get any further away. Yeah, and once you go down your path into Deloitte it on that route, there is no way for you to be able to jump back unless you have a crisis in your career, and then you basically change the whole thing, which is like, it's like getting married to the wrong person and then having a divorce because you need to now go to the opposite side. You know what I mean? So what I will do is I'll give you some exercises before our next classes to really think about what you want to do. Like, so you can say, okay, how old are you now? 22? 21? Also around that age. So imagine you're going to be 27, yeah? And then you're going to be 32, yeah? And then you're going to be 40. So I want you to have these like mental exercises and really think about it. Like, who are you at 27? Who are you at 32? Who are you at 40? Yeah? Like, where are you working? You don't have to have the specific job, but you need to have like, are you working in India? Are you working in the US? You know, for example, if you want to be working in robotics, then Boston Robotics in the US is probably one of the best places for you to work. You know, it's a great place. Or you may be working in Asia. You could be going over to, say, Japan or somewhere, or Singapore, where you're going to be able to be working with companies like Nissan or Mitsubishi, or, you know, these more manufacturing goods. Or are you going to be working within business? Yeah. So I think it's a really good exercise for you to do this. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to be a lot more clear and confident in the interview. Because if you know, it's kind of like, imagine if you're driving me, yeah? And I'm sitting in the car as a passenger and you're driving the car, and I'm like, do you know how to drive this? You're like, yeah, kinda. I think like I'm gonna be going, oh shit, we're gonna crash. He has no idea, yeah? So I wanna make sure that you're really confident with what you want. So you can say something like this. You could say, you know, there are two elements of my studies or my interests. That is the business, you know, the data and business, as well as the hard goods. And I want to find a way to be able to bring the two together. So what I'm looking for is a company that has some kind of like graduate program that will allow me to have a 360 vision of the business. So you could go in as an executive. There's these like orientation program, and normally companies like Deloitte have stuff like this, yeah, because they have consultants. So for example, rather than being an actual engineer working in a lab or building things, you could actually be a consultant that brings the technical know-how to the projects for companies to realize something. And then also they have an environment that allows you then to explore the other side of things like business data, business intelligence. Make sense? It sounds a lot more confident now, huh? So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a document, which is a list of interview questions, and they will help you out. Let me go to interview questions, general. Okay, so here's a Word document that I've sent you, and they have a list of general questions that people ask at interviews. Now, this is for somebody who has already had a job. So there are going to be some questions in there that aren't really relevant. So, for example, how would your manager describe you? Or how do you work as part of a team, or something like that? These questions might not be so relevant because you haven't got the experience yet. But what you want to do is you want to see how can you match your experience at university and on your projects to do this, yeah? Now, there are two things. So number one, be direct and get to the point. So that's really important. Answer the question directly, just be direct. Like, and then the other one is number two, support with evidence. And also notice at the beginning, I made some mistakes on purpose with you. So you said, oh, I like books. I like reading books. So I said, oh, Harry Potter. And oh, you like, what was the other thing you said? So I even forgot that, traveling. And then I said, oh, so where have you been in the world? And then you said, oh, no, I've just been around in India. So I made these mistakes on purpose. I was putting you into a trap to try to cut your words, to take you down a level, yeah? And this is what they're going to do in the interview. So you want to make sure that you block that stuff from happening. Yeah. So what I was doing is I was just highlighting the weaknesses in what you were saying. Yeah. So you want to be really specific. So there are two types of or three filters. The three filters are generalization, which is what you were doing, deletion, and distortion. Yeah, I'll explain these more in detail in another class because we need a lot more time to go through them. But generalization basically is saying, I like books. You know, if you were to then add into that and say, you know, for me, I get very passionate about reading non-fiction books, mostly around business and entrepreneurship. I have a lot of interest in that area. That's crystal clear. And then deletion is like saying, is just deleting stuff out. And we have to delete to some level. We can't say every single piece of information that our brain has because we just don't have enough time. And distortion is when you distort it slightly to your bias. But I mean, that's not really that necessary in an interview. So I'm trying to get a lot of words out before the end because I want you to go away with some information that you can actually use straight away with. We need to do research on the companies that you want. Yeah. So there are going to be like, for example, Deloitte. I might say to you, what value does Deloitte hold that you relate with the most? Do you know what their values are? Nope. Let me write the question. What value does Deloitte hold that you relate to the most? Okay. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So every company has their own values. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not a mistake. It's just that you don't have the information yet. That's all. So here we go. For example, these are the values for Deloitte. So integrity, yeah, outstanding value to market and clients, commitment to each other, and strength from cultural diversity. So you would have to say, you know, for me, as a you could say as an engineer, for me, integrity is probably one of the most valuable or most cherished values that there is. As an engineer, there is a methodology in applying certain things and making sure that the result is perfect, or at least as close to perfect as you can get. Gracias. Sorry, I just need to pay my maid. ¿Cuánto es? 80. Tengo 10. No, this is 5. Gracias, maid. Doctora. Sorry, that's my maid. We have a cleaner in the house, and I just bought these, so I needed to pay for it. So, or you could say, as somebody who's very ambitious with their career and just starting out, for me, I want to have an outstanding value to the market and the clients that I serve. You know, I know that I've got a lot to learn, and I know that I'm going to have to develop a lot of hard skills as well as my soft skills. But having the inspiration to deliver that value, that outstanding value, is one that I hold most. And it's like, boom, these are good answers. Yeah, because Deloitte's going to go, he knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah. But we'll go through this. So this is why, yes, I'm very confident that on Verbling for sure, that I'm going to be one of the best people to help you with this. But I'm direct, I'm tough, and it's work. You have to work hard but I promise you, if you work hard, you will get a very good job at the end of it. Okay? Cool. Listo. Can you do me a favor? After a while, send me your CV if you have one. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So send me that, and I will have a look at it so that I can see if there's anything that's good or bad. And if there's anything that's a bit bad, then you can update it. We can fix it. I know that after working with a lot of Indian people, I know that there's some cultural styles that aren't that great for the US. It's not bad. It's not bad, CV. Okay, so you know when you go to a restaurant, yeah, and they give you the menu. If it's a very famous restaurant, if it's a very big company, then they would have invested maybe tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars even on getting the menu in the right place and the right shape. And the other day I went to a restaurant here and I was saying to my wife, my God, this menu is so shit. The menu, like, it's not that the menu is got bad food, but the layout is terrible. And the reason is that they had a piece of paper. I'll explain. They had a piece of paper that they put on the table because you can't have a menu in your hand anymore. Yeah. So what they do is they have like a mat where you put your plate on. Have the menu on it. Yeah, I thought, okay, that's clever because at least the menu's always there. And also it's nice as well. But once you've ordered your food, you can still look at the rest of it. I think that's quite smart. But the problem is that they had the menu like this. So on one quarter of it, we had like food, and then the rest of it was all drinks and cocktails and stuff. And I was thinking to myself, what a waste of time, because your eyes are fixed to the middle. When you have something, your eyes go straight to the middle first, and then they go off from that. So where do they go? They normally go left, because when you go to a restaurant, you think, I'm going to have some food, main course. So you want to sit in the middle. But then you might want to look over like, oh, what can I have to snack before it comes? Maybe they have some bread, or they have some hummus, or I don't know, whatever. And so the layout is really important to maximize the profitability of that person, because what you want is people to get to land on what they want to get straight away, and then you want to try and upsell on certain things. Think about it with a CV. When you present your CV, what's the first information that the people are receiving? So you want to make sure that absolutely. Now, I certainly think that having your grades as a graduate is going to be important. So it needs to be on the first page, but I don't think it needs to be right at the very top. And I don't think that you should have all of your writing in black font, because all I'm doing is I'm just looking at your name and your. So the first thing I'm. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Do whatever the school is telling you, because like this is why I said in India they have some cultural formats which I've seen, and what happens a lot of the time is like you will get an offer, or you go to America to do a master's degree, and then you want to try and get a job, and then you're using the same format as the Indian university, and I'm like, don't do that, right? You want to, but don't worry. It's good. The good thing is that, because it sounds to me that you're quite multinational in your mind. You're already thinking outside, and you're already thinking big company, you know, global position. So it's good for you to learn this now, you know. If every single person at the university is using the same format, you're not going to get discriminated because of it. So don't worry, it's absolutely fine. But we can find ways to try and don't worry, the other students that you are competing with don't have me teaching them, so you're going to kick their ass regardless. Yeah. Anyway, I have to let you go, but very nice meeting you. If you have any questions, just send me a message. But we'll start working on your questions and answers in the next class. Okay, why have I framed it? Very good. So it's called a daily dose. Okay, so these chemicals, they're all chemicals, yeah. And they are dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. It's basically the chemical structure. Your brain is the same as mine. It's the same organ. It's like a heart. It's like a heart. It's like a lung. It's like, you know, any kind of organ that there is. It has a function, and there's chemicals that get sent into it. Now, in order for you to have a productive life and a productive mind and a productive attitude and a productive personality, it's all about the right balance of chemicals, you know, the alchemy that's going on in your brain. And so if you're depressed, yeah, or if you are lazy, or if you're unmotivated, or it's not because of that's just the way you are, it's because that your brain has got an imbalance of chemicals that's disallowing you from being able to do something. So if you understand the biology and the alchemy of the brain and the effects of that, it allows you to hack it, because you know what the weaknesses are. And so if you can then implement, so if you can try to put into your day-to-day life dopamine in your brain, oxytocin in your brain, serotonin in your brain, and endorphins, then you're going to be able to become kind of superhuman. You'll be able to be, it's your superpower. You're hacking the system. So, for example, when you look at very successful people, incredibly successful people, they have very strange habits. You know, they don't do things that, you know, 99% of the world, they're mediocre. You know, they just rely on life. They just get by, you know, and that's it. But there's a 1% that are incredible. They make reality for themselves, and they understand how to hack it. So, for example, me, I play tennis. That's one of my systems of creating dopamine. So I do something I enjoy. I listen to music when I wake up in the morning. I go to the tennis club. Oxytocin, I get to spend time with my friends in the morning. The first thing I do. Serotonin, I'm getting better and better and better when I play tennis, you know. And endorphins is exercise. So when I come home, you know, my muscles are all spent. The other thing I do is I eat dark chocolate, you know, or I try to spend time with as many people as possible, have hugs and stuff like this. Serotonin, set myself goals and achieve my goals, so I get confident. I know that I'm good. These are these are really important. You know, once you understand how the mind works, you can fly with it. The other, yeah, the Buddha is actually, I'm not Buddhist, even though I have a lot of Buddhist things around me. But the golden Buddha for me is in Thailand, there was a golden Buddha that was made in India. It were 5.5 tons of gold. It's very, very heavy. And many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, the Burmese invaded Thailand, and the monks realized that they were going to steal the gold from the Buddha. So they decided to cover the Buddha with clay and paint it, and in the sun it would look like it's stone. And the Burmese army came in, they looked at the statue, they thought it's just stone, and they left it and they stole everything out. The monks were like, we tricked them, that was good. But the problem was is that after 200 years, because the Burmese didn't leave, they stayed inside Thailand. After 200 years, all of the monks that knew about the secret of the Buddha, they died, and they never told anyone because they didn't want anyone to find out. And in 1955, they were moving the statue, the Thai government, and it dropped on the floor and it cracked, and they saw it was gold. So they started to peel off the concrete. Oh shit, this is like a really solid gold statue that's been hidden for hundreds of years. And the metaphor as a coach, because I'm not a teacher, I'm a coach, the metaphor is that when you are born, you are golden Buddha. You are perfect. You have these dreams, you have these aspirations, you are perfect. But as you go through life, you start putting on bullshit. I call it rules. Yeah? Basically, bullshit rules. Yeah, bullshit rules. You start learning rules. And those rules can come from things like your culture, could come from your family, could come from your social economic background, can come from your religion, can come from your friends, can come from your teachers. You know, they're just bullshit rules. You know, for example, why do you need to get married at 20 and have children? Why do you need to buy a house? Why do you need to live close to your family? Why do you need to save money? Why do you need to invest in property? Why do you know what I mean? All of these things, they're rules. It's just lessons that you've learned. And my understanding is it's better to actually redefine your own rule book. Don't let everyone else do it. Define your own, because some of the most successful people in the world, they don't live according to the rules of everyone else. Yeah, they live on their own rules. Oh, within reason, of course. And so for me, the golden Buddha is basically the reminder that every single student is perfect inside. I have to remember that. And it's my job to break the clay, the bullshit, to bring that person out. Make sense? It's taken 37 years to get this thinking, so you pick it up in time. But anyway, very, very nice meeting you. How do I say your name? Sanyam? Yeah, Sanyam. And I will see you hopefully in the next class. So just let me know when you want to put on it. I'm sure we will. Ciao. Have a good one. Ciao.